And right there.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's talk. I want to talk a little bit more about your connection with Lizzo.
Yes.
I mean, you've experienced a lot of success with her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at one point, you could argue. I mean, she was maybe the hottest artist on the planet at one point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you were right there next to her,
Mm-hmm.
on tour with her, doing everything with her. What has that experience been like? That has to be so surreal. Like, did you know this was coming?
You see, I'm Southside reppin', Bigfoot steppin', Zone 3 section is God flow perfection. Hating on the church like I ain't blessed they section. If we ain't talking money, I got a weak connection. That's on the hood. She said get a bag, so I get it, got it good. Don't complain about my problems, I just put it in a wood. Seen a genie the other day, she said make it good. So I wish for good health, then I wish to look if she's not lieutenant.
Probably expensive.
Probably is. I've never looked at the prices, but give me a week. I bet you I can find it.
Okay, you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. Another episode of Live on Lake Street. Very special guest today in the building. Someone I've been wanting to talk to for a long time, but you are
Really?
Oh, you are booked and busy. Hard to get a hold of. Booked and busy. So we got Sophia Eris in the building. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course.
I've been seeing y'all do your thing. It's impressive.
Well, we appreciate that.
No problem.
We work hard to present this to people. People don't know the behind the scenes work and the behind the scenes politics and drama. That's the key.
Oh yeah, I saw that like clickbait one. I wouldn't call it clickbait. That really happened when he got up and walked out. I was like, "Ooh, they're spicy over there."
Shout out to Steph Weezy for walking out on the interview.
I was like, I'm interested.
Yeah, we get a little spicy over here.
Mm-hmm.
We like to get a little spicy. I don't ever want to like get too manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
I like it to be real a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to just create fake shit just to get it. But there's a lot of shit out here that goes unsaid that people don't speak on. So I like people to come here and speak on the issues, because the issues, like I've said many times, the issues exist with or without us, and you can't begin the healing process until you put the issues out on the table, right?
Well, inquiring minds want to know what happened with that.
Well,
are they still mad at you? Did y'all heal from that?
I don't want to give too much away because I want people to go watch the interview.
Okay.
Go watch the Steph Weezy interview. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'll say.
All
Go watch that interview.
Okay.
But yes, we're good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good to know.
Steph's a good dude. We fuck with Steph over here. We're big supporters of Steph Weezy.
Okay, good.
But let's talk about you.
All right.
So you have a super kind of crazy career path because you're an artist.
Yes.
But you have landed in these positions in your career kind of like by chance. Like you landed on like I know that like radio that wasn't in the plans, I assume.
No.
It just kind of happened. It kind of fell in your lap. Deservedly so. It worked out. You were great on the radio, so it worked out. Obviously somebody saw something in you. But even, what a lot of people know you as Lizzo's DJ. And even that was like,
that was by chance too.
that was by chance. You weren't a DJ.
No.
So I want to start a little bit like at the beginning. Like, so you started as an artist and then like it's been a while since you've released music.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've released you released a single in like 2020, but like last album was what, 2016?
Yeah. It was like 2017.
2016, 2017?
Yeah.
So obviously you've
It's been a minute.
found yourself busy doing other shit.
Yes.
So talk to me about like the culmination of your career. So you started as an artist, and what happened in between deciding you want to be an artist and then, was the next step landing on radio?
So when I moved to Minneapolis, I'll just start right here. I moved here in 2018.
Okay.
And I went to school for music business. That's why I moved here.
Yeah.
And when I graduated, I was doing all these internships. And in that time, I met Lizzo.
Yeah.
And Lizzo had moved here in 2011. And I was just doing music on the low. I didn't get to put out anything really. I maybe had one song on SoundCloud.
Okay.
And we just became friends, like not knowing what her and I did outside of anything. We just clicked as human beings over Beyonce.
So way outside of the music.
Yeah, completely outside of the music. I met her at the Red Stag block party in Northeast. Yep. And she had just moved here. And her and I just ended up hanging out later that night. We had mutual friends. And we like got drunk and bonded over Beyonce and like karaoke Bootylicious or something. And we were like, yeah, that's my girl. After that.
How can you not bond over Beyonce?
I know, it's easy.
Yeah.
But then after that, we found out that we had done music separately, and I heard what she did. I was like, this is really good. And then she heard my one song and she's like, oh my God, I love it. And so we ended up making a couple groups together.
Yeah.
We made the Chalice and then we made Girl Party. And then in that time, she had been working on her solo stuff, and she put out this mixtape called Lizzo Bangers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the only feature that she had on it, and it was Batches and Cookies.
Yep.
And she got offered a tour off that record. And she was like, you have to come with me. Just be my DJ. And I was like, okay. And then...
That was it.
Yeah. And that was a tour that got her signed in the UK. And then that was it. And I had to literally learn as I went.
So hold on. So you were not a DJ?
No. I was just like doing like... If I was a DJ at all, I would be like stealing aux cords at like house parties or
For
something.
sure.
But I would no knowledge of how to DJ at all.
But her plan was... You got to come with me and be my DJ.
Yeah, because I had that one song with her, which was the single.
Yeah.
And she's like, just be my DJ and you'll rap once a night,
So you were like, all right, well, I'm going to have to, I better learn how to DJ.
Yeah. I literally started off by just space barring like on iTunes on that first tour. Yeah. And then we got funding to give me a little controller. And then, and that's when I took on like mentors like Shannon Blowtorch. She taught me how to use the controller.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the text. But I just kind of had to learn as I went.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so when you were doing Girl Party,
mm-hmm.
you had, I believe it was when you were doing Girl Party, you had the opportunity to perform at Paisley Park.
Yeah, because in the Chalice, Prince asked us to do a song with him. Okay. Or in the Chalice, and it was Easter Sunday, 2013. I remember it very vividly.
I could imagine you would.
So we had the Chalice had done was a part of a documentary on the news at the time. I think it was KR11 was doing a special Minnesota music documentary, and it was like us and Doomtree and Prince was one of the artists in it too. And when it came out, Prince found out about us, and he emailed our manager, which we didn't even have a manager at the time actually. He emailed us. It was like, hey, we want you to be on the song with Third Eye Girl. We want to come to Paisley Park. And we're like, yes. And so we went there, and we had 3 hours. Well, we did it in 3 hours. We wrote and recorded a song in 3 hours for Third Eye Girl. Ended up keeping just Lizzo and I's parts on it.
At any point, did Prince appear?
No, but the whole time, no. So we thought, obviously, as our manager and I were like, oh my God, we're going to meet him today. And I moved to Minnesota literally because of Prince. I had no idea what Minneapolis was until I saw Purple Rain. I saw it in high school, and I was like, oh my God.
So you chose your destination based off of that?
It was, because, it was based off of wanting to be in the music business.
Yeah.
But it was between Minneapolis and Orlando, which had Full Sail. And here had IPR, and I was like, but it was Purple Rain that made me want to be like, man, I want to find an artist like that and change the world.
Yeah.
And so I chose Minneapolis. The first thing I did when I visited here was go straight to First Avenue.
Good choice.
Thank you.
Good choice.
Thanks, guys.
You made the right choice.
Thank you. So bringing it back, yes. We thought we were going to meet Prince that day. Instead, we're there in the studio. The producer was named Josh.
Okay.
The house phone that was in the studio kept ringing and ringing and ringing as we were going through all the recordings. And the guy, he was like, hello? He's like, no, they're not done yet. Click. And we kept going, and he's like, it was like, hello? No, they're almost done though. Click. And then I was the last one to record. And then I finished my verse, and then the phone rings again. He's like, hello? Yep, they're all done. You want to hear it? And he puts the phone up to the speakers and plays the whole song. And he goes, oh, you like it? Cool, I'll see you soon. Click.
Whole time this is Prince calling.
Yes. We look at him and we're like, is that him? Is he coming? And he's like, yes, that was him. No, he's not coming. And we're like, well, do we get to meet him? And he's like, no, not today. He's like, one day, but you're not going to meet him today. And then fast forward 3 years, we finally meet him when he asked Girl Party to perform at Paisley Park.
And he was going to come perform with you, correct?
Yes. You heard this story. Yes. He had watched our sound check, and it was actually he asked us to do a 2.5 hour set, which was like,
that's crazy.
Obviously hella long. And so we incorporated our solo songs with that outside of just the group ones we had. And so I was actually doing my solo song, Rest Your Head Up, which was the first song I ever put out ever.
Yep.
And after my song, we had gone on, and all of a sudden the guy's like, stop. He's like, stop right there. He wants you to do that song one more time. And the girls were like, what?
How many people are you performing for at this time?
Like at Paisley Park?
Yeah, like when he stopped the set.
Oh, so this is during sound check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, he just stopped the whole...
No, he did not do that.
Okay.
So it was like some security member during our sound check stopped after I had done that song and made me do it again. And then after we were all done with sound check, we go upstairs and the security guy comes in and he's like, yo, Prince wants to know if he can perform with you guys during your set. And I was like, we're like, yeah, you know? And then when he left, they're like, oh my God, like, that's like, yo, he's going to do your song. He's going to do your song. Because it is a very like ambient song. And,
right.
And like, mind you, Paisley Park at the time was like, you couldn't drink, you couldn't smoke, you couldn't cuss, you couldn't eat meat, you couldn't do anything. It was like a purple church. You know, like, those are the rules.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. When Prince was there, those were the rules. He's a witness. He wanted to keep everything clean. Like, even when we were, and no phones were allowed either. Like, just, those are all of the rules. So I'm sitting there. There's 2 hours left till our set starts. And I'm just like, like, I'm freaking out internally, like, thinking, like, every type of thought, you know. Do
you normally like smoke or drink or something like?
No, I mean, like, well, we like this is girl party days, mind you. Like, all we did was we just drank, partied, and just rapped, you know, and cussed. It was just like the fact that we even booked at Paisley Park was crazy.
So but does that kind of take you out of your element a little bit, like the fact that you can't do any of those things?
I mean, a little. I mean, if I'm like scared or anxious, like it would have been nice to have a shot.
You know, something for sure. A little tequila shot or something, yeah, like.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, so we're about to go into a girl party set where we can't cuss, and so we're like retraining our brain the entire time to make sure we don't cuss, and we have to be sober. There's so many different obstacles are just like, you know, being overcame in my brain while I'm thinking that this man might come on stage, like this person that I just admire so much could just be playing the guitar while I do this song, you know?
That's the test.
So we're doing our set now that the place is open, we're performing, we're doing our set, and the whole time Finding Nemo is being projected behind us.
I've heard about this.
And I guess it's like his favorite movie or whatever, so that's happening too.
Yep.
Ultimately, yes, he never came on set.
Never showed up.
Never, nope.
You know what's fucked up? Prince was probably upstairs somewhere getting fucked up.
Yeah. No, not fucked up. I
He probably was.
But he definitely would like look over things like he was like the Oz and Wizard of Oz. You know, like I know for a fact he had cameras and, you know, just would sit in the room and just watch.
For sure.
Things go down.
It's such a weird, like, he's such a mysterious dude.
Yeah.
Like, that playing Finding Nemo, like,
yeah.
there's meaning in that. It's
like,
more than just his favorite movie. There's something in his mind was like
there's like sharks like eating your head behind us. You know and you have like 5 girls just rapping and it's just I don't know.
And he never showed up.
He never came down. You know, and then we had been told that he like left and just wasn't there anyway.
But you did eventually get to meet him.
I met him that day actually.
Oh, it was that day.
Yeah. So when we got there and we were setting up, I was helping our DJ who was Shannon Blowtorch, bring in her vinyl because she did a set too. And I'm like carrying this crate and I set it down and turn around and he just right there. And I was like, hello. and I was like, hello, hi, I'm Sophia. Thank you so much for having us. And he goes, thank you so much for coming. Very nice to meet you, Sophia. And I was like, thanks. And I just kept it short and cute. Didn't want to be weird. And then, and that was it. I shook his hand. And then I guess like Blowtorch was saying that he never shakes people's hands. And so the fact that I did shake his hand was a thing. I don't know.
You always have that.
I don't know. But yeah, I got to meet one of my heroes.
Yeah. So when he passed, like, what was that like for you?
I was so sad. Like I remember that day, and I remember getting a phone call from First Ave asking me to like be one of the DJs. You know, they were open for like 3 days straight.
Yep.
And they wanted me to DJ that day, and I was like, no, I was. When I grieve, everyone grieves differently, and some people like to be around people when they grieve. I don't. Yeah. It's really hard to like grieve health in a healthy way for me when I'm like sharing it with people, and I feel like I can't actually feel my own true emotions because I'm like, you know, catering to theirs.
You gotta feel theirs too.
So I just like kind of climb inside myself. So I was at the time actually making a mix for the station because with Go953, the reason why I even became a on-air personality is because it started with them asking me to do these like 1-hour mixes for the ladies' night on Fridays. Yeah. And so I was literally doing that when I got the call. And so that mix just turned into all Prince, obviously. And I just like stayed by myself that day. Yeah. And then I eventually ended up coming out like a couple days later. But yeah, I was just sad. And I mean, really, I don't know. I had a lot of feelings. I felt broken a little bit. Yeah. And then a year later, when they did this like year memory anniversary, I said yes to DJ that. And my friend Zeke that worked at the station had this hard drive of like 1,500 Prince songs.
Wow.
And so I took it and I listened to every single one of them because I didn't want to miss one that could have been played, you know?
Yeah.
But that week I just bawled my eyes out. That's when I like really cried, was a year later.
Wow.
Excuse me, but yeah.
So that's crazy.
Yeah.
But you're right. Everybody grieves differently. And I am like you as well. Like, I don't want to be around anybody.
Right, because people like battle grief sometimes, you know, and I'm like, dang, it just, yeah. So I like to be alone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And people like to compare. I don't know if that's what you meant by battle grief.
Yep, that's what I meant.
Compare grief. Like, I'm sadder than you. This hurt me.
And when it's someone like Prince, of course, people are going to be out here like, I mean, who knows? But I just felt it was best for me to kind of just stay and, you know, be alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
So with the radio thing, how, like, who thought to say, hey, I think Sophia should probably do a mix for Ladies Night on Fridays? Like, who thought to do that? Who thought to even ask you?
At that time, it was brand new. They had just started.
Yep.
I think it was like February. And actually, okay, so when I first got into DJing, I remember this woman, Barb Abney, who used to work for The Current.
Okay.
And was a huge part in like kind of like our beginning in Chalice and Girl Party. She was very supportive of us. She had switched over to Go953, which was like the sister station of Go953.
The alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and I saw her at a show, and I was like, "Oh, wow, I'm DJing now." And I was like, "Let me know if y'all need anything," like jokingly and lightheartedly, you know. And because in my brain, I'm like, the ultimate evolution as a DJ would be on radio, you know. Yeah. And so she ended up introducing me to Peter Parker and had me just come in to visit the studio. And wait, can I drink the water?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, you have one. Okay.
Yeah. One second. I didn't spill it this time. So, it's not COVID.
It might be.
I know it's not.
You got that. You brought the Omicron in here.
Oh no, I'm okay.
Sophia showed up with m.i.a.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so
you got an icebox where your heart used to be?
I know, right? I have a story about that.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, so I got to go into the station to just meet the staff, like which was Peter Parker and Sam, the owner at the time. Okay. And Hollywood Hot Rod.
Yep, I remember him.
So I took a tour, and they're like, they were just like, yeah, come by. It was just the ultimate introduction, and then they ended up asking me. I don't know whose idea it was. I just got asked to be a part of the Friday night mix, and I just did like an hour to a half hour. I don't remember how it started actually. I think it was a half-hour mix at first. And I had to do like a test run too. I had to like send mixes so they knew I did mixes. And I actually had never done a mix in my life that I recorded. And even like I remember he's like, make sure you get like breaks in there. And I was like, okay. Yep. And I just did. And they were like silent because I didn't know what I was supposed to do. But I did it. I tried it. And it took me like so long because I just kept like wanting it to be perfect. And I would just like do the full recording and I was like, dang it. And I would do it again and again. And it would like, I would be doing it for like 8 hours. So I was trying to get everything perfect. But don't know whose idea it was. All I know is ended up getting the job. I did these mixes every Friday. And then they're like, you should host these mixes. And so I'd come in live and host, just like kind of do banter within the breaks. And then from there, they hired Augie 5,000.
26,000, I think it was.
Augie. To come in and do the night show, which had yet to exist. And they asked me to just be his co-host. And that was my first actual like on-air role.
It's your voice.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
So I had to basically that was kind of like a good training for me because it wasn't like my show, it was his. Mm-hmm. But I was just there to like I think they used me for him to be acclimated locally to the scene because he was from Arizona. So he just moved here for that. People didn't know who he was, but they knew me somewhat from what I had been doing. So we were basically helping each other.
That makes sense, actually.
You know?
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Yep. And then we were #1 night show in the States for so long that they finally created the morning show for us. Yeah. And that had yet to exist either. So we ended up becoming Augie and Sophia in the morning.
I feel like Go dropped the ball with the morning show. I just think it could have been. I think it was great, but it wasn't highlighted enough.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like it took me a long time to find out that you were doing it.
Oh, I see.
That's a problem. Like, I'm your demographic. I would have been listening sooner. Like, I didn't, but I didn't listen to Go. Like, really, I don't really listen to the radio at all.
I think that could be a thing too.
That could be a thing too. But then I realized, like, oh, like Go has a morning show. That's kind of like the Breakfast Club a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, where they really dropped the ball.
And I will say, because it was very. I worked there a total of like 3 years.
Yeah.
And it just. I think it was just new.
Yeah.
You know, and that was our job to like get acclimated and get people to come this way because it never existed yet.
Yeah.
So,
do you know why y'all didn't do interviews?
We did interviews that were like. So at the night show, I remember when we did the night show, we could interview anybody we wanted to.
Yeah.
And that's when we pulled in a lot of local people that I wanted to help get local acts in there. But because the morning show, like because of the demographic and because they were trying so hard to pull people in, we didn't have as much like opportunities to go out of a box that they were creating for us to pull listeners in.
Yeah.
As in, at the night show, we could play a lot of local acts if we wanted to. Morning show, like maybe like one if we pulled them in. It was a lot of like Drake and songs that were like major that would make people want to change the station and stay at the station.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting, like, I learned so much about radio, obviously, in those years.
Yeah.
And it's just they were trying to create the equation of pulling people in and keeping them there versus, you know, and we did do interviews. There was interviews, but I mean, like, you would need biggies. They were all about the biggies.
Yeah.
In the morning show aspect.
Yep.
They weren't really doing local anything in the morning show.
Do you know why? Is it literally just retention? Like people
It's literally because
care?
it's because of our competitors at the time. Like we're competing against like Dave Ryan.
Yeah.
And like the Breakfast Club had just started too. It was literally competition. And I don't think they felt at the time that maybe the following of something local would trump something that was national.
You're also competing with the Power Trip Morning Show on KFan. Which is huge.
Is it? Yeah.
No, KFan, the sports radio station.
Oh, and there, yes, and I even.
Yeah, they're huge.
See, and so I think it was a big numbers game. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
But that's to answer your question. And we did a lot of phone interviews from like national acts on the phone. Yep. I remember I got to interview m.i.a. I was so excited.
What was that like?
I don't know. I remember like Augie like not being excited, and I was like, "What's wrong with you?" I grew up on R&B.
I did too, but I wouldn't be excited either.
Well,
she's such a she's the definition. Well, just because she's the definition of like diva, and she's been famous for so long. She invented
that word probably.
She probably did.
Diva was Mariah Carey.
Was she a good interview?
It was fun, but it wasn't. I want to ask her so many things because I grew up with Mariah.
Yeah.
And we weren't allowed to ask her certain things. Like basically, it was supposed to be completely honed in on that new song she just put out with like YG and Jermaine Dupri about the wedding dress burning. Yep. It was like, it sounded like honestly there was 3 songs open at the same time on my computer and the tabs were just left. That's what it reminded me of when I heard it. But it was like a Donnell Jones sample with YG, with Jermaine Dupri, with her. But we had to only ask questions about that song and her relationship and why she made it, blah, 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 blah. But I couldn't really go anywhere else with it.
Yeah.
But I got a drop from her.
That's dope. So she said your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. See, that's a win. That's a win right there.
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's talk. I want to talk a little bit more about your connection with Lizzo. I mean, you've experienced a lot of success with her. Mm-hmm. I mean, at one point, you could argue, I mean, she was maybe the hottest artist on the planet. Mm-hmm. At one point, you know what I mean? And you were right there next to her, on tour with her, doing everything with her. What has that experience been like? That has to be so surreal. Like, did you know this was coming when you guys started working together? Like, did it feel that way? Because it looked, I think to the masses, it looked overnight. I know it wasn't overnight. Even her first hit was not a brand new song. Yeah. It was something that had been worked for years. Mm-hmm. So you being next to her, like, what was this experience like? What has it been like?
I mean, it's been, honestly, the reason why we connected as human beings and built together is because we both had dreams.
Yeah.
You know, we both had dreams that were way bigger than where we were. And like I said, I moved here because I moved here to go to school to be an A&R.
Yep.
And remember I told you how like watching Purple Rain, and the other movie I watched that week was Brown Sugar actually, and that's when I knew what an A&R was.
Yep.
But I was like, I want to be an A&R, and I want to discover someone like Prince. Like that was like that's what I said when I was in high school. And I feel like Lizzo was someone that was, you know, a comparable to Prince in a way of like, I wanted to find an artist that would change the world and help them change the world. And instead of being an A&R, I was just her DJ, you know. It was just, the vision was pretty much the same, but I wasn't her business. I was just her friend and her sister, and got to just be there as her support. And I got to grow too. Like, we had patience in each other to let us grow into ourselves and become who we were meant to be.
Yeah.
And I love her. That's family. We went through everything we've gone through since we met each other has been insane. And to still be together is something that's like the closest I may ever have to marriage.
Yeah.
You know
yeah. I feel it. I get it.
Got to like at this point of unconditional, you know, and it's hard to. It was hard. It wasn't easy, and she'll say the same thing. Like, we had a lot of patience in each other and trust in each other.
Yeah.
And she allowed me to grow into myself, and I made a lot of mistakes, you know. So we grew through so many things.
Yeah.
But yeah, the journey of that was a lot. It was like highs and lows, but I would say when, you know, 2019 was that year for us.
Yes.
That was like when people thought that she was overnight because of how insane the rocket went up.
Right.
But we had already been touring since 2013. You know?
So did it feel to you, I can't imagine, like, did it feel to you like, oh, finally? Or was it like, whoa, shit, what just happened?
A combination of both, I think. Because I remember what it was that Netflix movie where they put Truth Hurts in it.
Yep.
It was Someone for You. It had the girl from Jane the Virgin and the Keith Smith in it. But yeah, it was that one scene where she was like, wow, man, great. She was getting drunk because the dude broke up with her or whatever. But that made Truth Hurts chart. But that already came out 2 years before that.
Right.
And I remember that was happening along with us getting booked for Coachella. So that was like completely parallel to each other. And also Cause I Love You coming out.
Yep.
So it was all that. And that's when it was like,
Timing is so important.
It was all timing. And like, it was funny because Truth Hurts wasn't on Cause I Love You at all, but that was the #1 song in the country for like 6 weeks. And they ended up doing the deluxe version, putting Truth Hurts on Cause I Love You. But yeah, man, it was all timing. And it was beautiful. I think that, you know, the universe doesn't give you something unless you are truly ready for it.
I concur wholeheartedly.
And I think that the years that we had been together before that launch was, it's like I look at it as a pyramid, you know, like, and I tell young artists this that ask me for advice or whatever. I say, you know, so many young artists out here want to reach up and grab, as in like reach up and pay someone for a feature, or like reach up and like what they would pay Atmosphere for a feature, right? Instead of building. So if you reach up to the top to buy a feature, the moment that feature is gone, you just go right back down to where you were.
Right.
But if you built this like foundation for yourself for years with people around you, when you reach up and you fall back, you're still right here instead of going all the way back down. And I think her and I built the foundation for years to where there was nowhere to go but up. Yeah. And if anything happened, she still had all that foundation that she'd been building for so long.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. So I'm curious. So then you as an artist next to her, like, do you get a turn now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the last tour that we went on, like, I got to open up and I got to perform all my songs, but also, and this, to me, this is my year of release.
Yeah.
So everything I've been creating the last 2 years is all coming out this year.
Okay.
And I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
I think for me, I put out that album, the one back in 2017, with someone that I felt was my, I guess, the Sophia to the Lizzo. It was my person. It was the person that had patience enough to let me be an artist. Lizzo had patience enough to let me be a DJ. But Prophet is someone who now lives in Vermont. But him and I will be putting out our second project together this year, along with other groups that I got to be a part of in the last 2 years. But yeah, I feel like this is, if you would say turn, I would take my turn this year. But I will never drop anything that has to do with Lizzo. I'm like, that is like my career.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And because of that career, I'm allowed to have freedom artistically and do anything I want over here.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate all of the trifectas, like the triangle of everything I'm able to do, because I don't have to take. I have artistic freedom always because of the career I have with Lizzo.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you get the Lizzo feature?
Huh?
Do you get the Lizzo feature?
Well, I got one Breakfast and Cookies.
I know, but do you get one on a new project?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Because that Lizzo feature nowadays is hitting a little different.
I know.
It's a little different.
I haven't asked her for a feature from her, but I know she would do it.
Yeah.
But I would have to pick the right song. I kind of have a stubbornness about myself too. Like, I don't ask her for.
I get it.
You know,
no,
I'm kind of like, I want to do this on my own,
right.
but I know she's just like patiently waiting, like, girl, you know, she's more than happy to.
She is a cheat code, though. She is a cheat code.
She's a what? What'd you say?
She's a cheat code.
A cheat code?
Cheat code.
Cheat code.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
You just plug her in and you get the win.
Oh,
I mean, it's a cheat code. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right.
and that's what I'm saying. I guess it's like, when it comes to music, I do it because I would do it if no one ever heard it. I would still do it. I love making music. And so it's something that I'm a creator. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's certain avenues you can choose to take that may take away that freedom.
Yeah.
Or take away that passion and that love from doing it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess at this point, I just love creating so much, and I want to put people on that people don't know about, versus like going up and grabbing the cheat code that I know I could have any day.
Yeah.
You know.
Are you working with some other artists from Minnesota?
I am.
Who are you working with?
So Mike the Martyr is one of them.
Yep. Shout out to Mike the Martyr.
He's someone I've been has let me, when my producer went back to Vermont, I didn't have a home studio anymore.
Yeah.
And so he was someone that kind of like stepped in and just wanted to be around me and my music and wanted me to rap. And so I got to rap with him like the last 5 years. And this is the year that most of those songs are coming out.
Okay.
And then last year I got to get my own studio space. And I ended up making like this 80s love R&B album that I'm duetting with this guy, Casey Gerald. And his voice is just insane. He sounds like old church. I don't know. It's a voice I've never heard before.
Okay.
And so him and I are doing love duets that over like 80s funk beats. Like, it's kind of like Luther Vandross, but duets.
It's a whole project?
Yeah. It's called The Reception.
This isn't the project?
So the group is called The Reception,
okay.
and the album is called Reception, and it comes out on Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay.
And then my solo stuff with Prophets. And so all those three things are coming out this year.
So this is your year.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
And then I'll still do whatever Lizzo tells me to.
Oh.
I'll go on tour with her. I'll do whatever. But the last 2 years have been so hard for everybody. But the only thing I'm grateful for is to be able to stay and create everything I got to.
Yeah, that has to be hard, especially, being with someone like her who is so great on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And touring has just not really been a thing. It seems to be opening back up a little bit now.
Yeah.
Maybe just to get shut down again. I don't know. Do you guys have any big shows coming up or no?
I mean, I don't know, and it's hard. It's hard to speak about, honestly, because of everything. Like last year we were gonna play Bonnaroo and got canceled. There's so many things that are it's hard to truly speak it into existence. Although you can try. Like, I'm like, yeah, I want all these big shows. Who knows if they're gonna actually happen? I don't know.
Yeah, it's getting kind of crazy.
We are booked for a lot of things this year, but it's hard to speak about them because I don't want them to just.
They might get canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you had an m.i.a story. We're not skating over that.
Oh yeah. Oh no. It's like we went to go to the Millennium Tour last year.
Yep.
And we
that's right. I totally forgot about that. You probably got Omarion stories. I forgot about the Millennium Tour. Oh Lord.
That was amazing. That was like our Super Bowl because so when B2K when they reunited initially, we were on tour. We never got to go, but we love B2. Oh my God, we love them all.
Right.
Like, I love Bow Wow. because I'm from Ohio. Like,
I don't know about Fizz these days.
Well, Fizz, we got to go to his restaurant and karaoke with Fizz.
He got some questionable things going on.
I'm sure he does.
But
all of them do, man. Everybody does.
That's true.
I'm just here for the music and the memories that they made me feel in high school. You know what I'm saying?
So what was that like being on tour with, like, that had to be crazy.
We weren't on tour with them, but we went to the opening night of the Millennium Tour that had Bow Wow and m.i.a
Yep.
and Pretty Ricky. We went to the opening night in LA, and we literally, Silas made our outfits to look like B2K that night, and that was when B2K had, ended because of Lil Fizz and Omarion and Fizz, messing with Omarion's baby mama, whoop-de-whoop. And I remember we always manifest things before we, have a show or before we go anywhere. We'll like try to like talk about what we want to have happen that night.
Yeah.
Like when we do shows, we always have a prayer right before a show. Like, this has already happened. This is successful. Whoop-de-whoop, right? And so when it came to that Millennium Tour, we were like, okay, what if B2K reunites on stage? And we're like, I don't know if that's going to happen because Omarion hates Lil Fizz. We're like, facts. But just what if they reunited? And they did. They did. B2K comes out. It's Lil Fizz, Raz B. J-Boog wasn't there. He was like on the phone. I don't know what happened, but I guess he had been in the building and didn't come out for some reason. They come out, they do Gots to Be. We're like, oh my God. And then Lil Fizz apologizes to Omarion on stage and says, hey man, sorry for messing with your family. I'll never do that again. Man to man, I'm sorry. And then they get back together. We manifested that.
I think I posted a video from you guys backstage that night.
I do. That was so fun.
Who else? Because was Lil Baby there?
Lil Baby, I don't know. I was looking for Lil Baby.
I remember posting a video of, I think it was you, Lizzo, or maybe it was Omarion.
It was. Well, we took a picture. We took a picture with Bow Wow and Pretty Ricky, and Chris Brown was there.
Chris Brown, that's who it was.
It
was when Chris Brown and Lizzo.
Yeah, because it was.
That's what it was.
And none of us had known that he was. That was a surprise. Yeah. And I remember when Chris Brown came up, I was looking at T-Pain, and I was like, oh my God, I want to take, because T-Pain is way tighter to me a little bit than Chris Brown was at the time in my brain.
You gotta relax.
It's T-Pain.
I know, but that's.
You saying I have to relax?
Chris though. That's the GOAT.
Well, yeah, we all got a picture. I did.
T-Pain.
But I missed T-Pain because we took a picture with Chris Brown. But in my heart, I would rather have got a picture with T-Pain. That's just how I feel. Because Chris Brown is a lot more than talent. He has a lot of other things going on that makes it a little weird.
We gotta let Chris live.
He got to live.
I know.
He did get to live.
Well, are we still holding the Rihanna shit against him?
I mean, well, Rihanna's over it, so I don't know. I'm fine.
Yeah, I just think Chris is.
Chris is insanely talented. Yeah. He has talent just oozing out of his body all the time.
Yeah.
But I can't. I'm not gonna sit here and be mad at someone when they got forgiven by the actual victim of it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But like I said, I would rather have a T-Pain pick.
Yeah, I mean T-Pain is a GOAT in his own right too.
You know what I'm saying?
He definitely changed music. He's got a lot of babies out here.
Mm-hmm. But sure. as a DJ, as a woman who DJs, there are certain men out here that it's I can't. It feels weird spinning them.
Can we talk about that? Because you like with all this shit that happened here in Minnesota, with all the accusations and like shit happened with like the DJs and the artists, and like, what was your perspective on all that?
It was a lot. It was, I felt like...
You were a person that I wanted to hear from at that time.
Yeah. I'll say, we're talking about 2020, right?
It was 2020.
It was 2020.
Was it 2020?
It was 2020, right? It was 2020. It was when things stopped.
2020, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, because when everything stopped, and now we're all like quarantined inside, everyone's on Twitter or whatever social media is happening.
Yeah.
And then everyone, basically power was gone. All these women that had so many stories that were extremely valid had an equal playing field now. There's no show. There's no thousands of people to control. There's no guest list. There's no nothing. Now it's just... And those women came up and said their piece and said their stories.
Yeah.
And for me, as someone that had been, working in the scene for, at that time, probably like 10 years, maybe, I realized what colleagues were. There's a lot of, I feel like a lot of people that were around me at shows, booked me, I performed with or whatever, all were getting called out left and right.
Yeah.
And I think it made you understand, you can know someone by how much they let you know them, as in the men around me were showing me the best sides of themselves and the best versions of themselves. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what happens when they close that door at night. And so, it's none of my business. All I know is I had a lot of colleagues, but actual friendships and knowing the truth about everyone, I didn't know. And it was sad. And it made me really sad. And ultimately I feel like I just got to a place of empathy and compassion, because once you understand like these people that are out here hurting people, you also know that they've been hurt too in some way, shape, or form.
True.
But yeah, it was heavy and it was hectic and it was depressing. I was really depressed that year for a lot of reasons.
And a lot of people that I'm sure you knew and were around and spent time with and respected. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden it's like, what?
Yeah.
And then we find out, you know, like shit later, like when Prof got dropped.
Yeah.
Like I understood at the moment.
Mm-hmm. But Prof also got signed exactly the way he was. So it was interesting for me, I think that's the one time I really did speak on this truly, because I saw Prof and m.i.a get dropped, right? In my mind, I'm like, you signed this man exactly how he was.
Which, by the way, for the record, came out later. m.i.a was not dropped.
Yeah, exactly.
They lied.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Do you have any insight on that? As to why? Like,
I don't know. I know that. But like I said, just from outsider's perspective, I'm just reading it when it comes to like Prof. I'm like, you signed Prof like that, so you just now justifying you dropped him like you're okay now. You knew what it was all along. Exactly. And Prof is also, I don't know what Prof does either. But I just know like the brand of Prof has never been like PC. You know what I'm saying?
No.
He has pregnant women like in bikinis, in convertibles, you know, whatever. Like that's he's a shock factor.
Yep.
I think he's very talented. But you knew what the brand was when you knew what it was, right?
Yeah.
And now you have m.i.a, who's a very young man when you sign him. He's 18 years old. Mm-hmm. And then you drop him because you hear like stories about him in the scene, but you lie and say you drop him, and to make it all didn't really. It was weird.
Any respect that I had at that time remaining for Rhyme Sayers Atmosphere, gone.
Yeah.
Lost it all.
It's messy, man. They like
so
I don't think they carry themselves right at all. So, but it's also something that when it comes to like the inside of things, that's all I know too, and it's a story that they can tell on their end.
Yeah,
you know.
I wish they would.
So I'm sure there's things that we don't know, but they should. I don't know if they ever did come out and tell their story or not, but
nope.
Have them on here and let them talk.
I would love to have that conversation. Yeah. I don't know how well it would go because I'm not going to be light on them, but I would love for Slug to come sit here and talk about this with me because he should. Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point especially, like it's been long enough where it's like, I get not doing it immediately because it's about damage control, and I understand that. But like now that the news has come out, and, you know, m.i.a put that fake ass apology out and basically said like they didn't drop me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be some explanations for that. And they're just out here touring, dropping albums. It's like
nothing happened. And so it's like well, because they're worldwide, you know, and it's like they skipped over the accountability that they could have given to the scene,
right?
From where they're from, that got them here in a way, and they just went out to their international fan base that they don't really have to have accountability to because no one really knows what was going on unless you lived here.
Yeah,
you know.
And I mean, and even though it's not their success is not their fault. Like
no,
having success that's fine, that's great. But
and that's not what I said at all. But yeah, no.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you said that. I want to make a point that they are a representation of Minnesota, and so I feel like that's a stain. Now people look at that like that's what we are. That's what this is. It's like that's not an accurate representation.
It's just like they. I don't know. And you said it's weird talking about it because I think he should talk about it.
You're
you know.
Right. Yep.
But I will say everything that happened in the local scene was very local.
Yeah.
It didn't really spread internationally at all.
Okay.
Like, you know, like someone out in Denver.
You would know that.
Someone out in Denver has no idea what the, you know, accusations were when it comes to here. But I will say, like, I'm glad all those things happened. And I think as someone that was a survivor and someone, or just a woman that wanted her story to be told, I think all they truly wanted was accountability.
That's it.
I think that was just someone being like, yeah, you're heard. You're right. I'm sorry. Back then, blank, and I won't do it again. Yeah. And that's kind of like was the main, you know, blueprint for what someone that felt like a victim wanted.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it's not really that hard, but it's ego and pride can do a number, man. And fear. Yeah. Fear, ego, and pride can do a lot of things that make you not want to just humble yourself for a second and actually apologize.
Especially when you've been getting away with shit for a long time.
Yeah, especially as a man.
Yeah. unfortunately.
You man, I'm just kidding.
No, it's true though. You're right.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
I mean, we all learned a lot about ourselves. I was very humbled that year too. Like, and I had to be accountable for some things as well by being affiliated with all these people too.
Yeah.
And so I just like, that's why at this point I'm very empathetic and compassionate to people that are going through that, as in, like, you know, no one's perfect at all.
Yeah.
And but all you can hope for is for people just to learn from their mistakes and grow.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't want to say that I'm glad for all of the things, the incidents that happened, and all the accusations and all that, but I am glad that it came out, because it did give us that opportunity to kind of start to rebuild in a different direction, and maybe not have that be so much at the forefront of our music scene here.
And when you said, like, his fame isn't his fault,
Yeah.
I feel like I just thought about what you just said, and I feel like, it's not really anyone's fault to be famous. Like, people didn't ask to be made a statue.
Yeah.
And at that time, when everything was being called out and stuff, it was like I was, and not about the survivor aspect, but like about everything, you know, and just being famous in general. I'll put it there.
Yep.
People are so quick to make you a statue, but love seeing you crumble, you know. And it's like, that's why fame and being famous is not an easy thing to go through. But it made me, the internet in general made me so sad to see. And like, I got off Twitter actually, because it just wasn't helping my mentality at all. But just how people are so quick to like laugh and punch people while they're down.
For real.
And just wanting to see them crumble, really. All the statues they created, they just want them to crumble. And it's just, the
internet is a really wild, it's a really wild place.
It really is.
Yeah, it might just be the generation I'm from or whatever, but like, I will never understand. I don't really even understand like a lot of the commentary on people's lives that we don't know.
Yeah.
It's like all this massive like judgment going on, but we don't know these people.
No.
We don't know anything about them. We don't know about their thoughts, their daily lives. Like, you know, all this the commentary on like what's going on between Kanye and Kim.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't know what their household was like. No. We don't know what he was like to be married to. We don't know what she was like to be married to. And like,
no,
we don't even know.
NDA, we'll never know.
Kim and Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
They might have been dating for a year before all this even came out and kept it private. We don't know. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what's going on in these people's houses, just like nobody out there knows what's going on in my house. Like,
no.
But yet we all have these opinions and we all want to talk about, well, Kanye's doing this and Kanye did that. It's like, and that's just an example, but it's like, stay out of people's business.
That was something I would say, like when I was in the radio, and because I chose to leave in October 2019. Because it got to a point where, because, you know, and this is all radio, like just right now we're talking about pop culture. Like in radio, especially in that genre, like it's all heavily based off pop culture. And every morning you wake up, you have to read blogs and just talk about people.
Yep.
And that was in the prime of because I was doing the show from the road. I was on tour with Lizzo and waking up hella early from wherever time zone we had been in, and going on my little app and being right into the table where Augie was every morning, and I would be live on air with him.
Whew.
It's crazy.
It's a lot.
It was a lot. I had like 4 shows a day. And so like it would be like Go Radio and then my actual opening set and then Lizzo's set, and then sometimes I did after parties.
Yeah.
And it was just I felt like my head was like about to like explode.
I could imagine.
To a point where I wasn't present in the moment that Lizzo and I had worked so hard for. Like that was the moment. That was like we were at the top of the world.
Yeah.
And I had to basically pick one.
Yep.
And I was just honest with them, like I can't be present anymore enough to do a good job at every single one of these roles.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna pick this. I'm picking.
Was there any element of the fact that you had to get on the morning show, talk pop culture, like current news?
Yes.
And also probably meet some of these people you're talking about.
Thank you. That's what I was gonna say. That's why I brought it up, because like I started actually meeting these people and getting in the same rooms with these people that we had to talk about every morning. And I remember we had sold out a Radio City Music Hall 3 nights in a row.
Whew.
And I got the email from Augie, and he said, okay, so in the morning we're gonna be talking about Cardi B's text or something. Yeah. Okay, got it. We're gonna talk about Cardi B and her tweeting. And I was like, Cardi B was just at our show last night. I just got to meet her. And I was like, I don't want to talk about Cardi B and her tweets. I don't care about Cardi B's tweets. And that was like the moment I'm like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about these people anymore like that. And that's when I let them know. I gave my month notice. It was literally because of that.
Because of that. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I mean, this is that makes sense to me. Like I just said, like we don't know these people, and now all of a sudden, you're starting to know some of these people, and it's like,
yep,
her Twitter's her business. I don't want to talk about that.
I don't care. It's like I just didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, I like. There's so many things I just don't care about anymore.
That's probably a good thing, though.
Yeah,
that's probably a really good thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, the last thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
But I want to know, because I don't know what it looks like from your perspective, because I know you're super busy. You're out here. You're famous. You're touching stages in front of thousands of people, tens of thousands of people.
Oh, sorry.
Do you pay attention to the music scene here?
I do. Well, I pay attention to. I try to, because I generally want to like help in any way I can.
So, who are some artists that you see kind of bubbling towards the top right now from Minnesota?
Well, I feel like the people that I've seen like working their butts off. One is Nerdy.
Yep.
Have you ever had him here?
Not here. I've interviewed him before.
Oh, nice.
On my last platform, but not here.
Okay. Nerdy's been working his butt off.
But yes, he's great.
Like on and off. Like literally being in the streets, working his butt off, and being just a hero, you know. And
for sure.
And then also being a musician.
I watched him get arrested on Facebook Live for assisting people medically during the. I don't even know what to call it.
Oh my God, it's got chills.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Watched it happen. Live.
Yeah.
Terrible.
He's someone I'm actually going to collaborate with soon, so I'm excited for that. I would say Dua. I don't know if you've been on them. Yeah. Wow. And they already are out here, like exploding wise. They really did it.
You said they.
So Dua.
Proper pronoun?
Yeah, pronoun they, he.
Because I was just about to say I DM'd and I didn't know what to say. So
they, he are their pronouns.
I sent them a DM.
Yeah.
To get them on the show like a month or so ago, no response yet.
And they would have a fantastic story to tell, I'm sure. And I remember seeing them like years ago and just being completely fangirled out on them actually. Yeah. But yeah, they're amazing. So also I would say Jija. Their name's Jija and Ness Knight. Ness Knight, their pronouns are they.
Yep. I know Ness Knight from you.
Oh really? Oh yeah, because I pulled them up. Yeah. Yep. So Ness Knight has produced a project for this woman named Jija, who's amazing. And I know they're rolling out right now. They're going to be releasing music this year.
Okay.
I think their single is going to come out, I think, on the 19th.
I'm not familiar, but
but it's fly shit. It's like sorry for cussing. Are we allowed to cuss on here?
All day.
Okay.
Yeah, please, cuss.
Is there like Erykah Badu that round?
Okay.
You know. Who else? There's a producer named Leland who is just production wise is fantastic that I got to know and work with. Big Kia is an artist I know that's coming up with Mixie. You know Mixie?
Of course.
Yeah, Mixie is managing her.
Okay.
There's so many, and actually I got a residency at Ice House now coming up every Sunday, so I'm just gonna be putting all these kids on.
Dope. You still have a venue?
Aunties? No. So we have a virtual one, and that's being renovated. But it'll stay virtual for a while until we're able to afford the brick and mortar space.
Okay.
But when it comes to Ice House, just gave Marta and I this actually. So every Sunday it'll be just new up and comers on stage, and we'll be there just releasing all the mixtape songs that we've done too.
Dope. So, can I send you some suggestions of artists?
I would love them. Okay. Thank you. I mean, I need as many artists as I can.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I got a lot.
I'm happy to.
A ton.
Do you do hosting ever?
No.
Oh.
Yes, here. I host the show.
You're not one of those people at the venues hosting ever.
I don't like that shit. What's funny is like I have a lot of people say that I should.
Yeah,
and I don't, but I don't want to. And then you know what? In 2022, I'm not doing shit I don't want to do. That's it.
Air 5.
I'm only doing shit that I want to do.
Do it. Yeah. That's great mantra.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel good here, it's not going to be good out there.
Yeah. I'm happy to be in front of the camera stage, but I don't want to be on a stage.
Yeah, I feel you.
I don't think I'm comfortable in that.
Okay.
Maybe someday.
Well, Ice House, you can come if you want. You
yes.
can sit. I love just being at the top and like looking down on people.
Yes, me too.
If I'm not performing.
Me too.
So you can have a nice little cozy place.
I like how you said that, being at the top, looking down on people.
I don't like to mingle no more.
That's a real Prince vibe. Yeah. I don't either.
So
if I come, you might have to put me up there.
Okay. Sunday's the first one's on the 23rd.
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously we're treading lightly because of COVID and m.i.a and Flo Rida and all the other ones that are being out. I read that COVID's dropping a mixtape every week. So you know what I mean.
It's true. The Flurona and it is. It's
everyone.
Wild.
So that'll be obviously making sure everyone stays safe and treading lightly with that. But
I got to wear a mask too, huh?
Yes. We'll have one for you. I know.
What if I take it off?
You know, it's your pretty face. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think, now the mandate came up that obviously there's a mask mandate and you need to prove a vaccination now, according to St. Paul and m.i.a.
It's your event. Can
Okay, I don't know.
Can I bypass this rule?
I think a lot of people aren't going to anyway. There's like, I've seen so many fake.
I got to get the fake vax.
Oh, I've been vaxxed.
I'm not getting vaxxed.
But you and I both had it. Oh, yeah, we talked about it.
We did, but
I had it on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it on Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucked.
Ruined my whole Christmas.
Ruined my whole year.
Pretty sure I'm pretty sure my whole house had it. Pretty sure. Yikes. But the problem is we took the rapid tests.
Oh.
And they're not always accurate.
No,
and from what I'm hearing now, if you got the Omicron, most of the time it's not picking up on that shit.
I tested before I went to Vegas. I was supposed to open up for Lizzo real quick. I know, like that time. I tested negative when I left and positive when I landed. And I was stuck in Vegas for 6 days. I wasn't allowed to leave the hotel room.
Ugh.
I missed out on so much. It was messed up. But yeah, don't trust the rapid test all the time. It's science. It's like, it has to do with how much. I'm not going to run the whole. Don't trust the rapid test. Make sure you get those PCR ones as well.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
It's true. You're right.
But the rapid test could get you to work if you really want to make some money,
That's
though.
a fact. That's a fact.
That's
a fact. I might pull up to Ice House with the rapid test just because I want to come in and stand up at the top and look over people.
Yeah.
So I got nothing else for you, but this was fun. I enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you so much. This is amazing.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. But before we go, final thoughts. Anything you want to tell the people, where to find you, any motivational quotes you got? Look into this camera and talk to them.
I liked what you said about if it doesn't feel right, I'm not going to do it in 2022.
Yeah.
I think if it's not hitting in your gut, it means it's not what's up. Just don't do it. Just keep yourself happy, keep yourself healthy, and keep yourself in a good headspace, and take care of yourself.
Where can they find you?
Oh yeah,
they know where.
You can find me at Sophia Eris everything, SOPHIAERIS.
Okay. I appreciate your time so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
That's it.
Good job, guys.
Another episode of Live on Lake Street. I'm Jake Faircloth. Follow me everywhere at Jake Faircloth 1. We out.
Damn, what in high school, I let it blam, what I wasn't playing, what I'm coming straight out the south. Hey, genius, best watch your mouth. When I put up on P&B right, then ain't he come out. You moving ounces, I just moved 100 things in a drought. You want the south side, outside the fence of your house. You talking all that, then wanna come talk it out. If you ain't talking money, you talking about.
Oh, that is funny. What I think is funny, and I don't remember being like this when I was a kid, but like my kids, they don't wear a coat ever. It doesn't matter how cold it is. They never wear a coat.
Wow.
I don't know why.
That's your fault.
I'll be like, I will literally force the coat to go with them to school.
They just don't wear a coat.
And then I'll go pick them up from school, and I'm like, where's your coat? Oh, I left it at school. It's like, you never even put it on. What it is kids are spoiled.
Yeah, you think that's why he doesn't wear a coat?
They go from the warm house to the warm car to the warm school. They never have to be outside. So they're like, why would I wear a coat?
Does he not like his coat? You got to get him a real fly coat.
Well,
I got him like an extra coat.
I have 4 kids, and they all are the same. None of them want to wear their coat, ever.
I remember, I've been at 13 schools, right? I grew up in the military, with my mother in the military. I remember going to this school when I was in 5th grade, and I didn't want to take my coat off because it was kind of like a protector.
Yeah.
It was I was just nervous as a new girl.
Like a nookie blankie.
Yeah, it was like this Adidas, it was this blue Adidas like puffy coat, and it took me like a whole month to want to take it off.
See?
And everyone was like, "That's that girl with the coat."
And me growing up, we're probably close to the same age range, I would guess. Starter jackets.
Yeah.
I had like 12 starter jackets.
Pullover ones.
Yes.
Oh, they do, because it's hard to like take off the pullover because
I would want to wear that bitch in the summer. Starter jackets were the shit. Yeah. I remember I would literally have to you would have to pry that off of me come spring. Especially the 49ers one, the pullover. Like that was the dopest jacket on the planet.
Yeah. I bet you I can find you one right now.
You can find me a 49er starter jacket? Fresh one? For real? How do you know? You know somebody?
I bet you there's like a thrift store in Minneapolis right now that's carrying a 49ers starter puppy coat.
Probably expensive as fuck, too.
Probably is. I've never looked at the prices, but give me a week. I bet you I can find it.
Okay, you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. Another episode of Live on Lake Street.
I don't know how to say it. Say it.